Domestic workers are entitled to end of service gratitude, which will Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Press that red notification bell. You'll always be the first to know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for returning back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching my videos. But if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Press that red notification bell. I'll always be very grateful. In today's video, we want to get back to a question of one of the subscribers that were asking us. And the question was that, is there gratitude for domestic workers? Yes, true. Remember, when we get to look at the Qatar labor law, we look at the section of the labor law, that's section 15. It says that every worker in Qatar will be entitled to payment of gratitude after completing a given number of service with his employer. Meaning that all the rules in Qatar that are geared towards improving the welfare of the worker, it also touches the domestic worker, because also domestic workers are also part of the workforce that is in the country. And remember, when we go to get back to the recap of the minimum wage, remember the minimum wage bill that was put in place, a new minimum wage law amendment act that was put in place, whereby the basic salary was elevated to 1,002. This, when you get to get back down to the clause, this salary that was elevated to 1,000 as a basic salary, it was touching all, it was all categorizing all the workers in Qatar, all domestic workers, all workers, security guard, cleaners, plumbers, technicians, all the workforce that was in Qatar is supposed to have a basic salary of 1,000, including the food allowance and accommodation. But remember, the domestic workers, when we look at the domestic workers, are part of the workforce in Qatar or in the Gulf countries, if we may look at that in that kind of situations. So when we look at the domestic workers, we are looking at the house drivers, we are looking at the nannies, we are looking at the house helpers, or we get to look at the landscaper boys. We definitely, all those are part of what we can mention, a few of these that we can mention in what we call the domestic workers. But remember, even if it is a domestic worker, is entitled to his right as per the labor law, is entitled to good feeding, is entitled to a good accommodation, is also entitled to receiving his salary at the end of the month, or according to what we call the agreed contract with his employer at one moment of time. And exactly that is what we're talking about. And the question now we are trying to talk about is that, are domestic workers entitled to gratitude? The answer is yes, because a domestic worker in his own category, or whatever kind of work he may be doing at one moment of time, is part of the labor force, is part of the workforce. So is entitled to this gratitude after completing a given period, agreed period with his employer. Remember, when we talk about gratitude, gratitude is normally just a given token amount that is given to the worker after completion a given period of time with his employer according to the agreed time. And that agreed time may be either 1 year, maybe 2 years, or maybe even 5 years. So what does it mean that for someone to receive gratitude, let's say for example, you are terminating your contract with your current employer. So your current employer, depending on how much period you've worked with him or she, then you'll have to get a given bonus. That is per the labor law, or that is per the Qatar labor law that is put. So meaning that all domestic workers out there, they are entitled to what we call end of service bonus, or what we call gratitude. And that one is normally going to depend on how long you've worked with your employer, how much period you spent with your employer. But remember, for you to know how to calculate the gratitude, you'll just go in the description below. You'll check in one of my videos. Remember, the gratitude, upon termination of the employer contract, an employee is entitled to end what we call to end of service gratitude, and that is we call gratitude and leave salary according in the Article 54 of the Labour Law. And law number 14 of 2004, for each year, an employer is supposed to remit a given amount of money to his employee. That's what we call gratitude. And remember that gratitude is supposed to be calculated as a minimum of 3 weeks of your basic salary, of how much you are earning. So what does it mean? That upon terminating, if you are working as a domestic worker, you're a shamba boy, you're a nanny, you're a house driver, you are entitled to gratitude. And that gratitude should be calculated as the minimum of 3 weeks of your basic salary, depending on the number of years you completed, the number of years you spent, or the number of years you've worked with your current employer. If it is 2 years, you are entitled to 3 weeks of your basic salary as your gratitude, plus your leave salary. And if it is more than 2 years, 5 years and above, if you worked with your current employer for 5 years and above, that means your end of service gratitude will be 4 weeks of your basic salary. But remember, if you are terminating a contract, if you're a domestic worker and you're terminating a contract with your current worker, then you have to agree with him according to the gratitude or how much he should pay you. Remember, per the law, it is supposed to be, if it is 2 years, above 2 years, it is 3 weeks of your basic salary. And if it is more than 5 years, then you'll have to get 4 weeks of your basic salary. But remember, if you want to terminate the contract and you're moving direct out of your country, you are entitled to leave salary. You are entitled to end of service gratitude. You are also entitled to a return ticket back to your place of origin. That is what the law says. So I want to let you know, all domestic workers, Meranas, you ask this question, and this is exactly, I want to clarify it. I want to let you know that you're entitled to your gratitude. You're entitled to end of service bonus after you complete a given period of time according to the agreed period or the agreed contract that you sign with your current employer, because it is stipulated by the law. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We are looking at a road to 1K subscribers. Support my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. I'll always be very happy and more than happy to get back to you. By the way, don't forget to drop in a comment. Tell me what you think about my video. I'll always be very grateful, positive to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much. See you once again in another video.